when Lee and Stacy asked me if I would do this, I said, yeah, absolutely. Of course, I would love to talk to y'all for a few minutes and kind of tell you some of the things that we do here. And so Lee asked for me to talk about our community policing efforts, okay? And so I have found, 25 years later that a lot of the young folks that we're hiring are really into community policing. When I came on the job, that was not the case, Maybe it was because of where I was at or the time, the 90s and whenever, the law enforcement approach was much different. We were drive fast, beat people up, take them to jail sort of deal. That was sort of the culture of law enforcement back then, at least it was in Washington, D.C. Probably why law enforcement has kind of got ourselves into the predicament that we have over the last 5 or 10 years, right, with our relationships with communities. And so, but the idea that we do community policing is not new. Who remembers the Norman Rockwell painting with the kid at the diner with his little, pole with his bandana tie? That was community policing, right? That cop sitting there, and they were talking in the diner. So this is not a new concept. In fact, I'll tell you that if anybody knows who Sir Robert Peel is, he is considered the father of modern policing. And this quote is from the early 1800s, okay? And so he has a list of tenets about policing, and some argue that he didn't really write them, but he was the founder of the Metropolitan Police Department in England, okay, in London. So really the only difference between me and any of you in this room is that I get a paycheck to protect the community, but it's really all of our responsibilities to do that, right? That's our civic responsibility as citizens. And so I want us to make sure that, my job is to make sure that my folks understand that this is not a us versus you job, okay? There are parts of our jobs where, we're the only profession in the world that has the legal authority to take someone's liberty from them, and I can, as a cop, just say, it's a little bit more involved than this, but I can take someone off the street and take them to jail, and they could spend the rest of their lives there, right? And nobody else has that. So there's a tremendous amount of responsibility that comes with that, with being charged for that level of responsibility. So I want us, and I told Stacy when I first came here, I don't like putting pictures out, that we arrested somebody, I don't like putting their face on there because I still think that you kind of have a right to being innocent, and in today's world, especially on social media, you're guilty as soon as your face goes up there. So I would much rather have a positive spin on our social media stuff than put things, hey, we arrested somebody, because at the end of the day, y'all really don't care, right? You want us to get bad guys, but you want to live in a nice community. And my goal really is that you never see the police on your street. And that means, that only means because there's no crime on your street and you don't need the police there, right? That would be the ultimate goal, that we are out of business. But I think we know that that's not going to be the case, but that's our goal, right? So I wanted to bring some things to this agency and get our officers more involved with y'all in the community than had ever been done in the past. And so, coming from Apex was very active in community policing efforts. They were, and I had been involved in that for the last 12 or 13 years before I came here, so I was very well versed in some of the things that are pretty common in this profession. And so I wanted to bring some of those things here. And I'll tell you, the culture here was that there was a pretty negative perception in doing some of these things from the officers. And I think that was really not because of the community, because I was very surprised at how supportive the community was here. It was even much better than what I saw in Apex. This is a much more diverse community, okay? And people live together and they get along great. And, maybe I'm naive because I don't pay attention, but I think that the community here is much more inclusive of each other and much more supportive of the agency. But I think the agency had not done some of these programs well in the past, and so officers just didn't want to do them. So my job was really to kind of show them how the right way to do things and so they understand, wow, this is a really positive thing, and we're getting a lot of stuff from it. So what I want to do is kind of show you some of the things that we've done over the last year, and that I hope that we continue to do, and kind of tell you how we fund some of these things, and I'm open for discussion. So please talk to me about anything. So Coffee with a Cop was started several years ago. It's a national program now. And the idea of Coffee with a Cop was really to go in. It works, but it doesn't work the way I think it's supposed to. But it's to go into parts of the community and have conversations, no agenda, talk about football, talk about whatever. But if you're looking at going into some communities, they don't go to coffee shops and stuff like that. So I take this as an opportunity just for people to get to know us a little bit better. And I will tell you, we did our first one at Clayton Bakery, and I was surprised. It was very well attended. Wouldn't you say, Stacy? More than I'd ever seen in Apex. And Apex is 50,000 people, but we had more people at our Coffee with a Cop events than we've had in the past. And so we've kind of bounced it around town, and we've done Clayton Bakery, Boulevard, Starbucks. The guys really like Starbucks. They let us work the drive-through. So we don't take money, but we do hand out coffee and stuff. And Tyler, right here in the center, a lady went through there and forgot her Danish or whatever, and he ran out of the front door. This picture is after he came back. Ran out of the front door, across the parking lot, and caught her in her car, and got her Danish to her. So there's more work I've gotten out of him in the last 6 months. So I'm going to have to talk about it. But this just shows, a lot of these are some of the workers and our guys, but these are people that just came in and, jumped in. So we really enjoyed that. We partnered with Clayton Bakery, and we made some coffee mugs one time. They paid for them. Because most of the time we look for the businesses that we go to donate the coffee, the people, just coffee, not cappuccinos and all the other sort of stuff, but just basic coffee so people can come in and talk to us. And so I think we're going to do one at Clayton Bakery on a Saturday morning here. Normally we do them during the week only because I have a lot more cops working on a Monday through Friday, so it gives me a lot more staff to get involved. But we have a good time with this, and it is really just talk. We're not talking about politics or I certainly want to hear issues if people want to talk to me about them, but it's really just an idea that, an opportunity for us to talk and realize that we're just people too, right? So, but we've done several of these, and I'm pushing that we continue to do 3 or 4 of them a year. Christmas with a Cop. And so this program in particular was one that was people had a very negative opinion here in the department. And what they had done in the past was a donation site. People would bring gifts, and then they would just open it up for people to come in and rummage through, as they would describe it, and pick out things that they want. And so I guess they always talk about some Escalade. So I guess somebody pulled up in a Cadillac Escalade one time and grabbed a bunch of gifts, and so cops were thinking, well, they don't really need it. So what we have done here is we work with the schools to vet about 20 kids. That's really about all that we can handle, just because the number of cops that I have available. But we try to find 20 kids in the town of Clayton, okay, that need Christmas gifts. And I'm sure you can all agree there's at least 20 people in this community, kids, that can benefit from this. We really focus on the town of Clayton. Last year I think we had one family come that was from Smithfield, and the FOP also does this, and they just got confused, but we didn't turn them away. We helped them out that day, and that was like a family of 4 or something. But what we do is we bring, mom and dad drop the kids off at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. We threw them on a party bus, did a big police escort down to Walmart, and went shopping. And so we get a list from the parents of what they need, and so we make sure they get, socks, underwear, the things that they actually need, clothes, and we try to get them, something nice. Scott right there, him and his wife, Stacy, do you remember what they buy? Bicycles or something for the boys out of their own pocket, I think? So we give them a $200 limit. And so that money we do a calendar every year. The company that does that calendar that gets the advertisements gives us a check for $2,500. So we use that money, but y'all do the math. If we're doing 20 kids times 200 times wrapping paper and everything else, we're over $2,500. So we look for ways that we can get additional monies to be able to fund that every year. So I'm thinking it's a $4,500 a year effort to do this program. This is not funded through municipal dollars at all. So we have a guaranteed $2,500. I'm looking to Walmart to give us a grant. But what we do once we get all the gifts, we bring the kids back here, we feed them some pizza or whatever, pour Coke down the throat, get them all hyped up, send them back to mom and dad. and then we wrap the presents. And so this year, the honor kids from Clayton High School came here a couple nights and they wrapped all the gifts for us, and then we go deliver them to the parents or to the families. And so some of them, it's very touching. And if anybody wants to volunteer to do this, I'm more than happy to have you. It takes a lot of people to kind of just get gifts and manage everything. But it's one of those things where you feel really good. If you do a good job and you vet kids that really need it, and you take it to their house and see what some of these folks are going through, struggles that they're going through. One lady had a lot of health problems over the last year, and the family was spending a bunch of money on medical stuff. And so it just makes you feel good to be able to do that. It's a small thing. We give them $200 to see a lot of these kids that are buying stuff for their parents or other siblings. And, if we have an age range, and I think it's, I don't know, like 5 to 18 or something like that. But we take all their siblings. We don't, like, one kid doesn't get gifts and nobody else does. We'll take all their kids. We just can only really fund about 20 of them, and I really don't have more than 20 cops and their spouses that come in here and help. But a lot of folks, my wife came in, Scott's wife came in, a lot of folks came in and helped with that. And because if I get a 12-year-old girl, I can't go help her try on clothes and pick out bras and stuff. So my wife comes and helps with that sort of thing, right? I don't know what I'm looking for, one, and two, that's just not an area that I want to get involved in. But having spouses come and help with that really, really helps us do that. And of course, if we've got a couple kids and you got some folks there. So we do that in the very beginning of December. I think last year we did it the day after the parade. And what day is the parade this year, Jim? It's like the 8th or something. Second. It's like that. Yeah, I think it's the 8th. So we. If we do it the Saturday or the Sunday after the 14th, it's that late, we'll have to figure it out, because if we go that late, we're really compressed on wrapping time and delivery time and all that other sort of stuff. So we tried, I think, Stacy, we did it the week of Christmas or a couple days before for the delivery.
At least 5 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
And people cried when we came to their
Yeah,
house.
they sure did. I mean, this lady did, and Meredith, who works in our front right here, she did a phenomenal job really talking to some of these parents. So we try to make sure we're not going to, this is our first year last year, so we'll do it again, but we really want to try to get 20 new kids every year. We don't want, this is not a way for you to get a better Christmas. This is if you don't have one and need one. So, but we go out there and they put on their Santa hats and they have a good time. So I'm very happy that this was a huge success this year, because this was the one program that there was a very negative perception of here in the agency. So I think it was phenomenal last year. So we'll continue to do that.
Beyond the families that we touched, the video, Nader and I walked around, through Walmart getting video, and then went to the homes when it was delivered. We had more than 50,000 views on that video on Facebook alone, and 300 plus comments. And all of them obviously saying, this is so wonderful you guys do this.
And this was our first time doing it this way. And so I think that was probably our #1 video that we've had. And, we have about 12,000 likes. So we got 50,000 views on that, and it's getting shared out and being seen by people from all over the place. So really excited to do this again this year. So we do canine demonstrations. So if y'all don't know, this is Eli right here. Eli is a complete nut job. Not the officer, the dog. That's Isaiah Ruffin. So he has Eli. We have 3 canines, and I tried to have a 4th this year, but it didn't make it through the budget. But what I want to do is have a dog on each shift. And so, how many of y'all care if Eli bites 500 bad guys? Right, that's what I thought. Okay, no one cares. And I tell these guys, canine guys, they want to get bites. I said, look, nobody, and they don't care if your dog bites more bad guys in the history of police canines than any other dog in the world. They care about this. And these kids sit out there, and we work very hard to find dogs that have the temperament that they can operate in these environments. And so Jamie Brantley, if anybody knows him, and his dog Abel. Abel's the most obedient dog I've ever seen, but he took him at Christmas with a cop, and he walked around and did stuff. We have a female dog named Raven who is just super relaxed. She goes to the schools. So I would rather have dogs that do this, because I get more good PR out of these dogs than I get out of just about anything else. And so, but we'll go to schools and do demonstrations for them. We'll go to different groups and just show what the dogs will do. Eli is super, super high strung and will run around all day long and do all kinds of tricks and stuff, and the kids just eat it up. So if schools call us and say, can you do this? We'll do it. No problem. I love doing it. And the guys actually love doing it too. So we do that with all of our dogs are able to do that. And when I walked in today, Raven was just laying there, and of course, first I'm like, because the dogs that I came on the job with would not just let you walk by. They did bite you, but she didn't care, and she looked at me and stuff. But so our canine program, I'm very happy that we got Eli and Raven last year, and so they're doing great, and they do find a lot of dope for us. Raven, the first week she was on the job after they go to school for a month, the first week she hit on a package at the local UPS store, had $50,000 of drug money inside. And someone called and said, hey, where's my $50,000? We're like, it's at the police department, come get it. And we've never heard from them. But that's a great resource. So we took $50,000 out of the drug trade, and we get about $30,000 of that at the police department to spend on drug-related enforcement. Okay, so those things, I like hitting it in bad guys' pockets and taking all their stuff, but these dogs are very, very productive. I like having them on the squads because they get utilized a lot more, because an officer stops a car, smells something, they call a canine over, and so they're very productive. But these dogs are a big PR tool for us. Definitely call us if you want to have something like that. So pack a police car. This is one of my officers' wives brought this idea up to me last year. And it's a school supply donation event, as you might be able to tell. And so that picture is kind of hard to see, but we filled this room full of school supplies last year. And so what we did is we went to Walmart and we set up. We had a car, and the idea is that you go into Walmart, you buy some stuff, you bring it out to us, and we throw it in the police car. And we pack a police car full of some supplies. And we packed, I'm telling y'all, I was blown away by this. Floor up there at Novo Nordisk, the folks that are building the Novo Nordisk up there, I think they collected $2,000 from their employees or some amount like that. And they went and bought like pallets of school supplies for us. But we got a ton of stuff, and it took a lot of work. It took 2 days to divide everything up from the 9 schools that we have in town, and then we went and delivered those to the schools, and they put it into their little supply closet for kids who don't have pens and papers and things like that they have the ability to do that. And so that was, we not only filled a car, I think we filled 2 cars and a trailer full of school supplies. It was a lot of stuff. And we did it in about, I think, 4 hours on a Saturday, and it was a really great turnout from the community. So this has cost us nothing to do that, other than we go out there and sit there and collect stuff from people, and people gave us money that we turned around, went right back inside and bought more school supplies. So every bit of money and stuff that we got went right to the schools that are in town. So And we did we're going to do that again this year. I don't have the dates yet. I got to get them to Stacy. But it'll be in August. We'll do a Saturday and then do delivery right before school starts. So when all the teachers are in there and before the students get in there. So.
And people cried when we delivered that stuff too.
Yeah, and there's a video on our Facebook page about this too. So this was new this year, but we are going to do it again, and I hope that we have a successful event. But it'll be a Saturday morning from, I think we did 10 to 2 or something like that at Walmart. And people came out and like, what are y'all doing? And we tell them, and what do you need? And I think this year we actually found that based on talking to some of our schools, because we have SROs in the schools now, that we need like socks and underwear to give to the schools. So I guess accidents happen or kids need stuff, I don't know. But so we'll be looking to probably get some of that as well. So National Night Out. So this is also a national program. It was designed a long time ago to go into high crime communities for the night and set up a thing where kids can kind of interact with the police department. It's really grown into sort of a mini fair sort of a thing. So in the southern United States, National Night Out as an organization allows southern police departments to pick an alternate date in October where it's not as hot. So what this agency had done for a while is do Riverwood Night Out, and which is great. We still do Riverwood Night Out, but this really isn't. The community's a little bit larger than Riverwood. So last year I said, we're going to do National Night Out. And so we did it at Town Square, and we set up things, the dunk booth. Lowe's Food is a big sponsor of this. They gave us all the hamburgers and hot dogs and food that we had last year that we cooked. And kids had a good time. And so, because we're not a high crime town, this is kind of what National Night Out looks for us. Right? I'm more than happy to go into other neighborhoods if there's a need to do that. But it's really like a time for kids to come out and play with this. This year we're going to have a donut eating contest. So Jim, if you're interested. And I'm working to get T-shirts made for kids that says I ate more donuts than a cop. And so, what this really looks like is you got 1 minute to eat, as many donuts. Well, I don't have that many cops, so you're slowly eating one donut, and maybe get half of it because you got to eat like 6 of them in a row. So, and kids are just cramming in, glazed donuts to try and then they get into it, and you got to talk smack to them and stuff. But so just things like that we want to do that get kids to feel comfortable around us. That's really the big thing. Y'all have already formulated your opinions about law enforcement, but the little kids we want to really have an impact on, because I don't know what, some interaction we have with a 5-year-old today, if that kid grows up and becomes a chief of police one day or something like that. So it's just an investment that we want to make. And I'm telling you, I'm looking for volunteers for the dunk booth, because I sat on that thing from opening till close, and it was nice because it was hot outside, but my butt was wore out because these kids and the girls were wearing me out, man. And they run up, hitting it, knocking it down. The one girl she hit it like, she must play softball. She hit it like 6 times in a row. And they would just get in line and go back and go back. And so I'm trying to figure out a way this year, maybe give them like a T-shirt so they'll like be happy and go do something else, because it was a long day. But it was just a good time, and we have bounce house and we have some stuff. So we're planning it again for this year. It's in August. I think it's the first Tuesday in August, and it'll be at Town Square. So again, this is a free event. Costs nothing to do that. Anybody that wants to come, any vendors, they can't sell anything. They have to be kind of security related, but they come there, and it's just a free couple hours for families to come, and we cook hot dogs. This year we're just going to do hot dogs, no hamburgers, because people were wanting cheese on their hamburgers and well done and stuff. So we're just going to do hot dogs and call it a day. So, but it was a good time. What else we got? Challenge coins. Stacy talked about the challenge coins, and so when I was going through the pictures, you can see they're all in gray uniform. So I got to get on my guys. They haven't been giving coins out here lately. But we give coins out to, so I got a bunch of these, and I gave every officer one, say, hey, this is yours. And then I gave them a second one. I said, this is for you to give to someone else. And so what we've done is give these out to people who in the community who do something good, just a one-time thing, or they do something great for the community. This lady helped up here. Let's see. This lady up here helped Officer Evans catch that little dog that was running around traffic. We thought that was kind of funny. This young man, Down syndrome, was just wanted to see the police car and stuff, so we gave him a coin. These two folks were helping me one day and Willie Henderson, which I know Lee knows, he was there as well, but he left before I got a picture of him. But they helped us get a car that had come off a trailer into the traffic and stuff, get it out of the roadway. They helped out a lot. So just little things like that just shows our appreciation for people doing something to help somebody else in the community. And so it's real small. I think I paid, a couple $100 for 200, 300, 400 of these coins, and we just give them out, right? And I want my guys to give out coins, and when they give one out, I give them another one, and I'll give them another one until they're all gone. When they're all gone, we'll design a new one and do that. So, just little things that people do, and we want to reward them, and you just got to remember that you do it. And so it was really popular. We got on the news for it, but again, I think we probably still have a couple hundred coins left, so it'll be a while before we run out. But we're looking to get through those as much as possible. Youth outreach. So this young lady right here, Aubrey Clark, she is a daughter of a Raleigh police officer, and she is single-handedly responsible for my Instagram account being where it is, right? So I have an Instagram account as Chief Myhand. I have a Twitter account as Chief Myhand. And this young lady blew my Instagram account up. So she wrote this little letter up here that, basically said she lives over there across from Powhatan Elementary, and talked about how cars wouldn't stop for it and everything. So I took a picture and put it on social media, and it just, cute little girl, I guess. It went through the roof, and we got on the news. This is me and her and her sister and some friends and stuff like that out there. It was just really good to see that. They've come back in, they painted this for us, which I thought was really cool. It's got the new car and the patch and, just some really cool stuff. But there's some really impressive young kids out in the community that get involved, and, anything that we can do to kind of develop a good relationship with them, we definitely take advantage of doing that. And so, but I do a lot on social media now because of that's really how people communicate. And I found Instagram is the place where I get a lot of that done now. And Stacy started a police department Instagram account and different things like that. So we're trying to stay active out in the communities by communicating in these ways. And so I try to put a lot of positive stuff out there on our social media stuff, because I want people to see the good things that we're doing. So Christmas parade, y'all know what that is. This isn't really necessarily a community policing effort, but we worked with y'all for several months to try to get this thing running. And we get in the parade as well. I feel kind of weird sitting in the car waving and stuff like that, but our main job for this event is just really provide security and traffic direction and stuff like that. But this is a great way for us to get involved in the community and just kind of get people to see what we're doing. Oh, that's me at Greece. Y'all probably don't want to know anything about Greece. Yeah, that was really tough right there. I had to throw that in there. I was there a couple weeks ago, y'all, so I highly recommend that. The last thing here is we partnered with a nonprofit called Cheney's Champions. And if you don't know what that is, it is a family. Lee Worsley, who's the executive director of Triangle J Council of Governments, his sister and her husband lost a child at, 10 weeks, Stacy, to SIDS. And so they were obviously very distraught, but very appreciative of how the police interacted with them and handled that situation. So they created a nonprofit where they celebrate their son's life with these bears. And so they donate the bears to the police departments around North Carolina. And our job is to take those bears and give them to a kid who needs it. And so this young man right here, Dane, the day that we ran into him, which was just a week or so ago, was his 1-year anniversary of being cancer-free. So what better way to kind of celebrate that with him, to give him a little bear to make him feel good. And so that's it. It costs us nothing. Change Champions as a nonprofit raises money in the ways that they can to be able to fund that. I think the bears are like $15 a piece or something like that. So we try to promote when we do these things on social media. And this one actually made the news. Stacy pulled some strings, and we got on the news about it. And so we do just little things like that because we're just trying to make an impact with primarily youth in our community. But I want y'all to understand, when I applied for this job, one of the questions that came up was, at least my answer to, I don't remember the question now, but my answer is I don't think nobody wants a police force, okay? They want a police department that they can go to and get, help with the things they need, but you don't want a force out here. And I don't want my folks to think that. There's a time and a place for that. When, someone's shooting up the high school, that's the time that you want your police force, and we need to, be that person. But those events are rare. The majority of the time, you want a police department that partners with you, like Sir Robert Peel said, in protecting this community. And that's really what I want us to be able to do. And so these are very fulfilling things that we're doing. It makes us feel very good to do that. We're not doing them just because everybody else does it and it's a good PR thing. But we definitely want to celebrate the positive things that we're doing in our community. And I want y'all to know that you can come talk to me. Some of y'all have my cell phone number. It's on 24/7. But I want people to know they can come here and talk to us if they need something, and that we're responsive to the community's needs, and we're plugged in with the community. And so, and when something bad happens, I want kids to come run to us and tell us they need some help and not run away from us because they're afraid, because all we do is, pull their parents over and give them tickets and stuff. Yes, sir, Lee.
Chief, before we run out of time, community policing in the sense of addressing high-risk neighborhoods, on a day in, day out basis. We have things going on in high-risk neighborhoods with kids or whatever to make sure they know.
Yeah, just there are other things that I want to do, programs that get officers out there, but and officers do all the time. They'll stop in neighborhoods and talk to kids and play with kids, just throw the football around, and those things that we want to do. We don't have specific programs set up in different communities other than just kind of an ad hoc thing that pops up. But there's some other efforts that I want to do that kind of help us reward kids for doing something like wearing their helmet when they're riding a bicycle and when we're just in the normal course of our days. But some of the things maybe like you've done in the past, we don't have like a PAL league here yet, or those sorts of things, or an athletic league. But we're ramping things up, and I've been very careful not to throw too much on too fast with these guys. But we're definitely open to ideas of new things that we could do and different communities that we can get involved in, and we want to keep a good relationship with all of our communities in Clayton.
You talk about community and partnership, and one of the things you did as a partner was help celebrate the 150th. Would you talk a little bit about your badge? Yeah,
so this was when I first came here, I don't know if they were paying attention or not, but I said, hey, y'all realize we're going to be 150 years old in 2 years. And so I thought it was important, coming from a military background, it's important to celebrate tradition and stuff. And so what we wanted to do was in DC, they did this a lot, and we had inaugural badges and all kinds of different badges. And so we created a badge that was the oldest badge that we could find here on top of our newest shield. And we married those together, and that is just a reflection of our 150th year. Officers will wear them for this year, and then we'll retire these badges. And I told them that if they're working here December 31st, they get to keep it. And then and then we'll go back to our traditional badge. But we want to celebrate our, the Clayton's 150th year this year, and just, really promote that as something that we can have. We had a couple extra ones that we put around town so people can see them and look at them, and hopefully they'll be around for the 300th year. Well, I appreciate it, Jim.
Chief, we appreciate it. That's a great program.
Thank y'all.